I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. It's better with time. Don't look back when I call you, but does that mean that you don't care? Go back to when I saw you, your beautiful eyes with a deadly stare. You think I'm stupid, but I get it now. How long can we make this go? Won't hurt to let it out, baby, cause I got to know. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. Don't break away, cause I want to stay, cause I want to stay. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. It's better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. 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 Time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. I hope it gets better with time. I let it consume me, I let it control me. I'll always be lonely, I'll never be fine. If life is a movie, it's always so boring. Where is the story? I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time.
Hello and welcome to a very special tournament today. TimCon presents the Dreamhack Community Clash Diabotical Duel. $750 on the line, a straight double elim bracket with players like Agent, Karvik, Pavel, Arsney, Backstein, Distant Light, Firebot, Dazator, Recruit 91, Danchez, Rel. The list keeps going. It's going to be a hell of a day. And to bring you the opening few rounds, it is none other than the ever illustrious, ever Australian duo of Hamo and Phylum. How you doing today, boys?
Very well, GMT, very well indeed, and I am looking forward to these games. I saw a lot of these duelers play in the Russian Duel LAN that was recent, and it was just a superb showing, and I can't wait to see them play more Diabotical, basically at a high level. Phylum, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, good evening. We're coming at you from 11 p.m. in Australia, so this is going to be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to, seeing some of these guys we saw, 2 or 3 weeks ago now? And some of these guys who have just come onto my radar, someone like Arsney, right? We'd never really heard of him before. Who was the other one? Recruit 91, right? We'd never heard of him being from Australia. He comes into this Russian LAN, blows us away with some really awesome games, and I'm disappointed that Joel didn't call out Gaia as a player to watch here. Gaia, CPMA legend, god gamer.
Always a player to watch, although not enough of a god gamer to beat me in Brood War. We've done that. We did all the races versus all the races, and I won every time. No, not throwing any shade, but still. We've also got some people that are just very regular that I'm always excited to see because I feel like they play enough that they should improve quite rapidly. And every tournament they get that little bit closer. I'm looking at the likes of Gecko, Headbanger, Abchamo. These guys pretty much show up to everything in Diabotical. And so I think they're ones to watch. I'm also going to take a little spotlight and put it on Vigor. Vigor's got great rockets. He was really good in Reflect. And he's fun to watch. If not, a super high-level player, very enjoyable POV.
Well, he is 15th seed in this tournament right now, and that is a high seed when it comes to the relative competition around him. So I expect that we should see a good showing from Vigor today.
Absolutely. So we're just gonna look to finalize the brackets now. We're getting into our first game, and I'll let Tom speak because I rudely interrupted.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, I had a really exciting thought there. We saw some of these top matchups, right? We've got Agent, we've got Dazator, but Backstein was not at the recent Russian LAN, so he's going to be kind of like the wild card, I guess, in these matchups for us. Backstein, someone I talked about in a recent YouTube video, someone I'm familiar with from Quake Live, someone who has just really solid play, and was making some really smart plays. I think the map pool works really well for people who are amazing at Quake Live. I think Gecko, another player who was kind of up there in Quake Live for a long time but never broke through to a super top level. I guess from our Australian lens, Gecko's someone who's on my radar because I believe he practiced with Phrase a lot.
Can I ask a question? Isn't Drifted a US player?
Yeah, so we allow US players, and they'll probably play on London server, but every tournament match is played on a European server. Come what may. Even if it was 2 Americans, we'd force them to play on EU.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah, we would. Going extreme, Alan.
And so what kind of ping are we going to be expecting to see from Drifted today?
It depends where he is in the US. It's like minimum, I think, is about 100 if you're from New York. And then maximum, it could be ugly, I hope. Well, they sign up stuff, though. They'll be familiar with it.
Well, if it's under 120, then anywhere between 80 and 120 is in that high ping advantage area. We have fair, because of the way Australia is panned out, we have a fairly good understanding that having 50 or 60 ping is probably an advantage in Diabotical. So, you know, when you go up to like the 70, 80, 90 mark, you get certain kinds of advantages as well. But yeah, it's interesting to see that, you know, these guys can play intercontinental games, but only one of them showed up.
Well,
Yeah.
it's insane that you get a better connection from America to Europe than you do from Australia to America. Like, it just feels wrong.
Well, I mean, it depends. If they're in California, I think that can go to like 2/3. But if they're
Well,
in
yeah. I guess
New
the
York,
best
it's a
case,
lot.
the best case from America to Europe is way, way better than the best case of Australia to America.
for sure.
And also, you know, while there are advantages to high ping, I think, you know, you've got to say it isn't all an advantage. You've got certain challenges to overcome. But yeah, definitely. I mean, again, everyone in Australia familiar with playing Fears, 100 ping rockets. Oh man, they are spicy.
Yeah, and the LG that chases you around corners, and you know, the ability that high ping players have to surprise you and hit you before you even kind of see them. But you know, there is a give and take as well. You know, the high ping players also have to deal with a whole lot of stuff that is unfair. So you know, it is kind of balancing. But yeah, at least it's not like Quake Champions where everything hits when you're a high ping player and it's just devastating for your opponent. Anyway, back to the task at hand. What's the first game we're going to be looking at today?
We are going to be looking at number 5, NR Sprite Nerd Rage, that is, versus C-Rex. And I'm going to leave you to it, boys, as we get those into the lobby. Have a fun cast.
Thank you,
Beautiful,
JNT.
Thank you so much. Now, Sprite is a player that I've seen before. Not someone I know very well, but like I've just seen them, I think, streaming, or someone sent me a demo they were in. And the other guy, CRR Rex. So we're just gonna go with Rex.
C-Rex, I would have thought.
C-Rex.
I don't know.
Let's do it. Let's commit to something. It'll be fine. They'll tell us later. Again, this name looks familiar, but I don't think I actually know them. If I remember, Sprite was a bit of a pincer-based player. And if we talk about this map pool, actually, I don't think we've mentioned what the maps are going to be. It's the, I guess, what you would call the standard map pool at the moment. You have some of the new ones, some of the Season 1 maps remaining in. So Skybreak, Casbar, and Bioplant stay in from Season 1. And then Amberfall, Monolith, Overgrowth, and Raya are brought into the mix. Heymo, what do you think of these new maps? They're pretty cool.
Yeah, well, they add a whole lot of variety, I think. You know, in Season 1, we only had one map, which was Caspar, which was a real, like, you know, slow play map. Like, Perilous was kind of slow play, but it was more of just a big donut, so you could just, like, avoid your opponent at all times kind of thing. And then all the rest of the maps kind of felt like they were more, like, jam-packed, and, you know, you couldn't really get any space to move around or set traps or really like make any master plays. And I think in these new maps, they add a whole lot of variety. Like we got Monolith, which feels a lot more like a Blood Run style of map where you can trap your opponent and surprise them because, you know, there's like lots of little nooks and crannies you can kind of hide in and hit big rockets. And use Weebles effectively. And then you got like Raya, which feels like a really nicely balanced map with heaps of good sight lines, and then verticality is really important on that map. And there's a real obvious distinction between in control and out of control play. And then you have Amberfall, which I think is a really interesting squiggly map. It's like there's so many paths you can take around the map, and there's a void cannon on it. And there's just like all these little areas, and it's just like it's something fresh and new that we haven't really seen before in any of the iterations of Duel in any of the AFPS games, in my opinion. So I like Amberfall. I want to see where it goes. And yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I completely agree on Amberfall. You know, it's kind of totally different, and I love that. I think it feels a really interesting place at the moment. Map without a red armor, so it's all about, you know, kind of thinking about these small armors. You know, interesting cycles come up, different cycles come up than you get on any other map. Interesting that you don't mention Overgrowth there. Is there a reason? Is Overgrowth the controversial map in the pool?
Sorry, I just forgot about it. I find it a little bit boring, personally.
Yeah. I think it's a
You know,
fairly
the
standard
greatest-
map, right?
Yeah, I think it is a fairly standard map. I think, like, you know, the creator of the map got lucky that they put the Void Cannon into the game, because the Void Cannon suits that map really well. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think having a Void Cannon in the game is interesting, and it should be used. But I think the maps do need to be kind of designed with the Void Cannon in mind, and I just feel like the Void Cannon is extremely strong on that map. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a Void Cannon map. I just personally am not with it yet. But maybe I'll learn to like it some more the more that I play it.
Yeah. And it was kind of interesting because I think at the factory Russian land, we didn't see overgrowth at all when we were casting.
Yeah, in fact, we saw a lot of monolith, and that goes back to my comparisons with Blood Run. And I know, like, you know, Russians used to love Blood Run as well, and I feel like it's because you get a bit more space to think, and then also at the same time you can really suffocate your opponent on that map, and that's an interesting comparison to Blood Run. I mean, obviously the two major items aren't close to each other, but they are both risky pickups. And
huge risk.
I don't know.
Especially at the red, we saw so many fights, like even people respawning in that room and then maybe trying to do something at red, or maybe not, or interesting ways and interesting places where people can feel confident, right? And feel like they're going to make something happen. And and then the Mega, of course, like just a huge death pit. Yeah, Monolith was really exciting to watch. That map's grown on me a lot. Hopefully lots of Monolith and Amberfall today.
At first, like, I think first impressions for a lot of people are not a healthy thing, especially like when people kind of get on the bandwagon with someone's first impressions. And I think both Monolith and Amberfall really fell by the wayside of bad first impressions, where people for Monolith were like, this should be a 2v2 map, don't put it in Duel, this is stupid. And then for Amberfall, people were like, ugh, I'm never going to learn this is like way too crazy, and there's a Void Cannon on it, and why is the rail in water? Yeah.
How do I get to the other side of these stairs? I can't.
Yeah, totally. And but I think, like, the thing is, Duel is an extremely complex thing, and it takes like maybe 10 or 20 hours of just a single person playing a map to really learn how that map operates. And then you start going, okay, I kind of get it now. And that's what we're seeing now from the new map pool, is people really understanding the maps. And I think that's when we start seeing if they're a good map or not.
Yeah, I really thought I wasn't going to like either map for the first time I played them, but I have completely swung around. Man, we've got some awesome people chatting here, by the way. Who are we excited to see tonight, guys? Is everyone here just on the Agent fan club? Do we think Agent's unstoppable? Do we think, Dazator has something up his sleeve? Do we think someone like Backstein can be the guy to step up and take down Agent? Or is there someone completely out of left field that we've got people barracking for? Like, what are we feeling? What's the vibe?
I'll let them respond to that. There is a 30-second delay, so we'll have to fill in some air while we wait. I'll give my 2 cents. I want to see Pavel step up. I think Pavel has been around this like 10th to 5th spot for a really long time, and I want him to step up and really make more of a mark. I think it's about time, and I really like his playstyle. The ultra defensive, never attack playstyle. I do feel like he needs to adjust it slightly to, learn to make attacks at the right time. But I think Pavel is a cool player. And also, same vein, Firebot. It's been around a really long time. Great, strong rockets, can make a good aggressive play, but is always just hanging around that 5th to 10th area.
If I had someone I'd like to see some upsets out of, as I already said, Gaia, hot player on my radar with my small CPMA background. But ultimately, I think Agent is just too strong. Like, we saw he wasn't unbeatable at the Russian land, but we just saw, how far ahead he was. Like, even when he's behind, he's able to compose himself. He's able to just wait for the right moment to take over a map. And once he takes over a map, he's just such an impressive player that, people were just collapsing under him. I think a Backstein Agent final is pretty likely today, and that's probably what I would put my money on. Watching Backstein, I've been so impressed. He's just making such smart plays about how he positions himself. Watching him peek other players, he's really smart about peeking when he knows his opponent won't be looking. He just has a great sense for that kind of play. So great awareness of what his opponent's doing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I did get to see Gaia play in the Russian LAN, I think. I casted a game
No.
of his against Agent. And yeah.
Gaia wasn't at the Russian LAN.
Okay, he wasn't at the Russian LAN. Okay, it was the tournament before, but he did play a game against Agent on Raya, and I feel like I was told he was a great CPMA player and had great movement, but I actually felt like that was maybe hindering his movement skills a little bit in this game because he was making a lot of movement mistakes in that game. So I would be interested to see him and see if he's played a lot more Diabotical since then, and if he is like a god movement person, he will have probably learnt or fixed up those issues really quickly, and then he might be excelling really high. So I'd be interested to see if Gaia has done that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
we
also
actually have the second player in the lobby.
Oh,
we
here
have
we go.
progress.
Sprite playing for Team NR, and he comes straight in with the ban of Monolith. Ooh, no Monolith today for Sprite. No Amberfall for Rex.
No
Okay,
Amberfall.
guys.
We just spent like 20 minutes typing up these maps. I reckon these guys are going to play it pretty safe. These guys are going to go safe. I reckon we might see a Bioplant. We might see a Skybreak.
Yeah.
I feel like these lower skilled players are going to go for what they know and what they feel comfortable in.
I think Caspar is a pretty scary map for most newer players as well. Oh, Overgrowth picked first by Sprite. Okay, this is a best of 3, everyone, by the way.
Yeah, nice. Completely out of left field.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Amberfall was removed by C-Rex, and so maybe this Sprite player is a big Void Cannon fan. So yeah, C-Rex picks the standard Bioplant. Very, it's kind of like the vanilla flavor of Diabotical Duel. It's been around since the start.
Yeah, and so what would be left?
Skybreak.
Yeah, Caspar, Skybreak, Raya.
Raya. So they're going to ban 2 more. Ban Caspar.
Sorry, NVC calling us out in chat. CPM movement, right? CPMA is the mod, CPM's the game mode. Classic rookie era talking about quick free mod.
Yeah. There's so many names for all the different movements. It's insane, You could say it's like circle jumping from Half-Life 1 engine, or I don't know, Quake World. Just so many names. But yeah, I agree. There shouldn't be an A on the end.
All right, here we go. So, Overgrowth. Finally, man, and I think we're going to have to watch Sprite off of the initial spawns here when we get to them. I want to know, like you say, if he's picked this map, he probably is a big fan of the Void Cannon. And what I think is really funny is when someone really tries to use the Void Cannon. There are a few players in Australia who I've dueled against. I'm not going to name names, but people who really just try and cheese the gun with you.
In
duels.
Joel is so good.
Joel's ridiculous. But if you frag him and then camp the Void Cannon, 100% of the time he just goes for it, and you get a free frag, right?
So everyone in the chat, I want to hear your prediction. And I tell you what, if you get your prediction right for this map, who's going to win this map, I'll read your name out. I'll read your name out and I'll say congratulations. So let me hear your predictions. Who's going to win this game? Is it going to be C-Rex or is it going to be Sprite? Let's get some chat going, and get some banter going in the chat as well.
Hamo's going to shake your hand at LAN if you guess right.
Yeah. We're just waiting for C-Rex to ready up now. I think he's, he was waiting in the lobby a fair bit longer than Sprite, who was in warm-up apparently, just making all 75 people in the stream wait. But yeah, finally, we should be starting very soon. Ready when you are, bro. Sprite says. All right. All right, we're good. Let's get into it. And
All right.
we're going to be starting on C-Rex here, and he gets the yellow armor Mega Hell spawn, and he will be able to get that Void Cannon and Slow Weeble first as well. So let's see if he can put it to good use. He is trying to deny this pincer, but it's already been picked up, and so he's just kind of movement mistake there.
Yeah,
that can give
being
out.
slowed down coming off of here is really dangerous coming into that first red. It's not capitalized on by Sprite. Oh, Sprite's actually in a very passive position here. Interesting. It looks like Sprite's going to be looking for the trap, but C-Rex has the Void Cannon to shut down the entrance, and this is perfect.
And you got to be. Oh, he needs to hit though. Okay, yeah, he did. He almost whiffed enough LG then to screw him up. But he, you need to be so aware on this map that that your footsteps can be heard from like most areas. So it's really easy to hit those Void Cannon shots if your opponent's listening for it. And yeah, this is what we're seeing right now. C-Rex just absolutely constricting him. He's at least taken off all of his red armor, but actually C-Rex is in a really difficult position here now. He's trying to avoid him. He can't take a single rail or he will die, and he will get away, and he's just trying to get a little bit more damage there with that Void Cannon. So sketchy situation there for C-Rex, because he stuck around and missed just one too many pincer shots basically.
But look at this.
So
this is the power of the Void Cannon. It's insane how good it is in this red room right now. Even all that damage that Sprite does. Well, he does defend himself, but it's not a clean frag.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think C-Rex really overestimated how much damage he did with the Void Cannon. He did like 130 damage with 2 hits, and you know that's a lot. But it's not going to mean that you can just run in with your shaft out and get an easy kill. Like, there's still a formidable stack there to fight against. And Sprite comes straight in to get this red armor. C-Rex reads the play really well and comes through the teleporter and just completely deletes the red armor. But Sprite, what a move! Went down the stairs, got the shotgun, came back and surprised him and got the easy kill because he knew that he would go and get that pincer. But C-Rex with the midi pops him up in the air, gets the midi as well. So back and forth plays here on the first map of Overgrowth, and I feel like whoever wins this map out of these two jewelers is probably just going to take the series based on momentum at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, C-Rex is beautifully set up here, you know, stabilizing out of a really scrappy situation with that yellow armor, happy to give the red away, you know, not in a rush to overextend here, which I love to see, and now he's going to be in a great situation to come back for this red. It's got to be careful with this movement, and that's actually let Sprite get up into an awkward situation. He's going to look for the punish, no Void Cannon this time, just trying to do it with rockets, and well, now for this Mega as well, he's not going to be in the best situation. He doesn't have the armor. Sprite coming out from down below again, and this is the second time we've seen Sprite taking a lot of damage here. C-Rex drops down a little bit early, but he will pick up the frag anyway, but at a great cost.
Oh, that would have been a really nice Void Cannon to hit. Maybe if it was 50 milliseconds earlier and he actually hit the ball, he would have done a perfect amount of damage and knocked him back off the platform. But anyway, I feel like C-Rex's rockets have not been very good so far this game, only hitting 39%, whereas his shaft has been quite strong. So maybe he needs to be trying to lean more on his shaft and not on his rockets.
Well, I actually feel like he's been using shaft in places where he can hit fairly easily. We did see him whiff a little bit earlier, you know, just in kind of like an awkward spot. I think his weapon selection has been good for the position, but I don't know if he has really strong, like, pushing aim, you know?
It doesn't seem like he's very good at getting his opponent into a situation where he can just do mass amounts of damage. Instead, he's just kind of matching and replying to Sprite. But I mean, that's fine as long as Sprite keeps putting himself in these situations. And yeah, see, Void Cannon left click there would have been enough to take down Sprite and secure the kill, but C-Rex not being able to judge the stack remaining and didn't pull out the right gun to finish that fight off. So, oh no, and he's run into Sprite now. Terrible mistake here. I guess he thought it was too risky to go for the red armor. That is going to come up in 5 seconds. But yeah,
Sprite
now
playing
he's in
that
a
really
bad
well.
situation.
Great catch. And Sprite, you know, has potential here to just run the map. You know, the rotation from this yellow armor onto Mega, onto red. C-Rex just really has to be careful right now. And hanging around for these cheeky corner rockets, it's not going to do much for him.
Interesting slow weevil. Maybe it's just a bit of a vision impairment idea. It's like kind of like using it as a smoke. And I guess it did scare C-Rex off. Oh, that would have been done. Oh, there you go. That's a lot of damage. Okay, so he's done 100 damage with the Void Cannon. This should be an easy finish here. And yeah, I mean, he probably could have just used the Void Cannon, but good choice anyway. It's, you know, nice and consistent shaft finish. Oh, he's been surprised here by C-Rex though, but C-Rex doesn't convert the damage. Had multiple opportunities there to hit rockets on a blind Sprite, completely surprised. But neither player able to finish off the other player. Both players sweating here, and 11 health remaining on Sprite after that fight. Oh my goodness. And yeah, Sprite will stack up here and be the more healthy one after all that. But
Actually,
yeah,
C-Rex
Sprite
just
has taken the lead.
on red. C-Rex is going to have a slight lead here, especially with the blue. It's going to be Sprite with the weapon advantage against C-Rex, playing really for this next red, and I don't know if Sprite realizes that the next red's the item to play for, positioned a little bit awkwardly, maybe going for the trap onto the Void Cannon, but it's going to be a bit of a scramble for position on this red here.
Weird play there by C-Rex. I don't know if he doesn't have timing on the Mega or something, but he just kind of come into this room really early, and oh my goodness though, the shaft is actually really strong from C-Rex. He had 39% shaft so far this game, and it seems like every time he's pulled his shaft out, something good has happened. So yeah, and oh, that would have been a kill. Oh no, it wouldn't actually, sorry.
No.
But it would have been crippling nonetheless, and I feel like C-Rex should just lean on his shaft more and more. Just put the shaft in his hand, put it to use.
Yeah, and especially around this red, you know, like he's a little bit late here, and it gives Sprite the chance to get on and get off. But so C-Rex is there, but he doesn't get the entrance or the exit damage, and he just is kind of forced, like, you know, either you clutch amazingly there and you pick up a frag, or you die. You're making your life really hard. You know, I would like to see C-Rex make his life easier and be able to lean on this aim a bit more.
Agreed, yeah. Maybe C-Rex has kind of coached himself into a point where he's like, I need to get better at these things, but this is a tournament match, and now is not the time to be practicing things. So maybe when we see push come to shove, C-Rex will just go straight to that shaft and try to take those mid-range fights that he knows he's been winning the rest of the game.
Yeah, but also, yeah, just across both players, some slightly weird decisions about positioning onto these items. Now, here for C-Rex is an interesting idea, because you get this chance for this corner fight, and you can deal a lot of damage, but C-Rex doesn't have a lot of stack to commit to it. Sprite, I don't know where Sprite is, and I don't know if this is a strategy for Sprite or not, but basically just to ignore the red armor about half the time and just play Mega in yellow, right? Because you do end up ahead playing Mega in yellow. You know, it can be a valid tactic.
I feel like this map is quite cookie cutter though, and you know, I think the rail does kind of add another element of things that you need to get, but C-Rex throws his so evil beyond him, but Sprite hitting the really clutch pincer shot there and takes 2 frags now in the lead, and I think every frag right now is so important. And oh, C-Rex only just not connecting the rocket well enough, and Sprite winning that fight with 10 health remaining. So yeah, we're just seeing Sprite only just coming out on top of these fights, but clutch plays here.
Yeah, you know, it really is starting to feel like Sprite might just have this in the bag, saying that as C-Rex pushes through. Sprite, you know, just as quickly as it feels like they're doing really well, they end up in a like putting themselves in a slightly awkward situation. And now I think C-Rex has the best opportunity they've had all map. I love coming through this teleporter, put the pressure down, use this shaft, get this frag. Beautiful play.
Something is enraged in after C-Rex lost those fights with only such little health remaining on on Sprite, something enraged in him, and he just went, screw it. Grabbed the shaft off the spawn, and actually has increased his shaft percentage accuracy since taking those fights. And all he's used in those fights is shaft as well. And look at him, he is just beasting it right now, just unleashing damage onto Sprite. And he is an angry, bloodthirsty man right now.
I love it. He knew exactly where Sprite was going there. C-Rex, yeah, like you said, something has awakened in him. Oh, he's going to look for the teleporter trap. I hope this pays off. Oh, huge play by Sprite. He's going to get punished. Again, it's this mid-range fight. LG domination, or shaft domination even.
Oh, he could finish him off though with the shaft, but he decides not to, even though he had 150 more stack than him. Plays a safe play to get the mega, but now he's got to trap him and get the kill because he wants to put it into golden frag a bit earlier and have a frag lead going into golden frag. And this is an opportunity for one, but he's going to let him slip away. And oh, here we go. He's found him and he gets the frag. So yeah, vital frag there for C-Rex, and those frags are super important. Oh.
But yeah, the thing with this map is there's no safe place for your opponent, you know, to kind of force your opponent to respawn out of the action. They're always going to respawn near a gun. They're always going to respawn near something, but C-Rex has the spawn rockets as well. Sprite does have a mega to fall back on, and so that does kind of make it okay for Sprite. The problem for Sprite is this red comes up, and if C-Rex can sit up there, if he can do it, you know, he does have this lead. Not an oppressive lead, but enough of a lead. Yellow armor's up, blue armor's up. Oh, Sprite actually commits on that red.
Yeah, Sprite dipping out of there, being like, nope. And if he was there for one more second, he would be a dead man. So, yeah, good choice there by Sprite to dip. But he has no idea when this red is spawning now, and he's just going to camp around clutching at straws, hoping that something good happens.
C-Rex looking for the trap. Ooh, somehow goes past there. That was pretty much 100% LG. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and see, none of the items are safe on this map, so you have to be so careful when your opponent's spawning to not put yourself. Oh my goodness! Whoa! The swap to the shotgun, the 60 damage shotgun, and the finish. Oh yep, great play there by C-Rex. And that was a really entertaining first map. I loved it. Yeah, and they showed us some things. Thanks, GMT. You worked hard for that map. Shout out to GMT and TimCon Land, by the way, for organizing all this, getting it all together. I think there's what was there, 47 competitors checked in to play today.
47 or 48. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of Diabotical.
Yeah, very impressive. Anyway, we got Sprite off the spawn again. C-Rex winning that first map with the best of 3. Sprite now, a lot of pressure on him to win not his map pick. This was C-Rex's map pick. And C-Rex looking for the easy kill with the shotgun bounce, but decides to back off and leave Sprite low on health. Maybe he's going to come and crush him and take full control, and I think that's exactly what's about to happen. And yeah,
you could just see, like, once you take that rocket coming through that passage, you know, really well played by C-Rex to anticipate what Sprite was doing there. But once you've taken that rocket, you're just caught between a rock and a hard place. Sprite stuck around near the red. It's really not the place to be. Look at this damage from C-Rex.
Oh yeah, and he's starting to play more to his strengths. He's running around with his shaft out, and I think if I was in C-Rex's shoes, I wouldn't care if I was taking a point blank shaft to rocket fire first Sprite. I don't think Sprite can hit strong enough rockets to nullify this guy's shaft. So yeah, if I was him, more shaft, less rockets, and I think it's been successful for him so far.
Yeah, well, especially while you have control and the stack advantage, right? Like, you can play this rush down. Needs to be careful how much he commits over here, but he should be fine to get back, get to this mega, catch us. I think that was an accidental slip, but it works out perfectly for him. There's a mega. There's at least one blue on this side of the map for him to collect. Everything's coming up C-Rex.
Yeah, and he keeps swapping out of the shaft to the rockets to finish Sprite as well. And actually, it can get a bit slippery when that happens. But I am impressed by C-Rex's play. He's cutting off Sprite really, really well and continually finding him to lay down damage. Sprite cannot get any space.
Yeah, C-Rex, like, you know, I think warmed up over that last map and now just looks like a completely different player than the one we were talking about a few minutes ago. Sprite with the rocket jump. Somehow this almost works. Oh, scrappy fights there for both players, but C-Rex continues to come out on top. Sprite, you can feel, was getting quite frustrated here. The damage isn't too different, right? But, you know, the big difference just has been that C-Rex has had this crushing control. Sprite has been finally able to wear some of that off. And so now is really Sprite's time to try and, you know, stabilize the stack a little. Some health bubbles would be great.
C-Rex doesn't push there. He's going to let him get the mega. Ooh. Costly mistime there from C-Rex. Sprite was just a sitting duck.
Yeah, well, but then C-Rex takes so long dropping down to that red as well. Like, Sprite had all the time in the world to actually get in and pressure that red if he wanted it. But there's the shaft. What we didn't consider there was the shaft.
45% shaft so far, and I think Sprite has given up. Yep, there we go. He does the GG.
It's unfortunate. You know, like we did see some hints of brilliance there from Sprite, but you know, it was a bad start. I can see why you would get tilted out from that.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like C-Rex kind of was learning Sprite a little bit over the course of last map, and then this map, he's just been a lot more dominant and strong. And and yeah, I feel like C-Rex is the rightful winner. But now Sprite is just running around.
Yeah, no. I really enjoyed watching C-Rex's shaft. You know, I love a good LG player, right? It makes me very happy. 45% there at the end for C-Rex. But I think it also has to be said that, yeah, I don't think Sprite was ever making it hard enough for C-Rex to get shaft like that, right? You know, he gave him mid-range situations like fights at red armor on Overgrowth, right? Like, that's the perfect place to have shaft at. When your opponent's up top, you go for red, you just get absolutely farmed. So there's always a hint of like playing your opponent there from the other side. But yeah, C-Rex did a great job of using what he had once those doors opened for him.
Ooh, let's see details. Okay, 66% of the voters voted for Sprite to win. Ooh, that means 8,469 channel points went to just NVC, who only has 3 letters in his name. That is just, you know, it's scientifically proven that people with 3 letters in their name are cooler. Anyway, Phylum, unfortunately, you got 6.
I got, yeah, it's too many. I tried to become 5 for a little while.
Oh, that would have been cool, scientifically.
Yeah. Scientifically.
Oh, Sprite's coming to the chat. Dude, fuck these morning tournaments. Anxiety just loses me shaft fights because my meds don't kick in fast enough. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Anyway, moving on. Next match coming, I think? Or are we on break right now?
No, it looks like we have Wise Genie and Vigor lined up, ready to go.
Ah, Vigor, yes. What were you saying about Vigor earlier?
I didn't say any. I don't know who Vigor is. Well, I've heard the name. I don't know much about them.
He said he was a reflex player, had great rockets.
No. Yes. I have. That's probably why I've heard of him. The reflex connection.
He played Quick Live before.
Quick Live, okay, cool. And so we've banned Amberfall and we've banned Monolith. Just waiting for their map picks.
Yeah, it's sad to see Amberfall banned again, but I guess we'll survive. And Wise Genie also playing for the clan NR. Worth noting. Nerd Rage, there you go.
Stands for Nerd Rage. Is that why Sprite was in it? Sorry. Anyway, shout out to all the competitors that signed up to this tournament. You're doing a great job competing in Diabotical. So we've banned Amethyst. We've banned
We've tried to
Monolith.
pick it.
We've
Oh, no, there we
picked
go, yeah.
Caspar. Caspar first pick. Okay, I really like Caspar. I think like if I had to compare it to a Quake Live map, I would say it's like Furious Heights, in just its like the rooms are kind of similar actually. Now that I mentioned that, but I just felt like
You
the
got a
pace
pillars room,
of
you've
it.
got a yeah, it's one of those really abstract things. I don't think you can put into words exactly why it's like Furious Heights, but it's a lot like Furious Heights.
Yeah, you're like
I think
you
I think the
you're
mega
quite often
kind of
like
takes.
dropping on your opponent, and you can whittle your opponent down over a long period of time, and then finally kill them over like a couple of minutes on Caspar. Yeah, go on, Fi.
Yeah, I think the Mega Room really takes the place. Like one of the big features of the Red Room on Furious Heights for me is that a player like it's a really interesting spot to stage a fight from a disadvantage. You've got that height difference. Either you're pressuring from above or you're below before your opponent can get in there and like blocking them out, collecting that red. And the mega area on Casbar really reflects that dynamic well, right? Like you can get in to mega and your opponent's coming from the red side of the map from top. That's an interesting dynamic. Even if you have a disadvantage, there are a lot of interesting ways you can play it. And yeah, I think that's one of the core dynamics for how Furious Heights plays out, the geometry of that red room, and that's I guess maybe the similarity. Also
And
moving into Rhea. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say these players obviously lack their verticality in their maps because they picked Rhea and Caspar so far. And so it wouldn't surprise me if we see like maybe an Amperfall as the third pick.
Amber was banned.
Oh, Amber. Overgrowth. Okay, so we've got Skybreak and Overgrowth left. Bio ban.
Yep, Skybreak. So Casbar,
Skybreak.
Rhea, Skybreak. That Skybreak will be a change of pace for the decider.
Yeah, and it's all three maps are quite different in their playstyles. I guess you could say Caspar and Rhea are more similar than Skybreak, but still Caspar and Rhea are quite different. But we're getting into game here now, and I think the players are just going to test that their guns are still working. Make sure none of them are shooting blanks, and grease up the old jets on the eggbot legs. Make sure they got some speed behind them, and then they'll probably have 3 and ready up.
Wise Genie is a player I did see a little bit of recently. I saw some demos or maybe in some streams. Was kind of impressed, right? Chat seems to be preferring Vigor here by an absolute monster margin, and so maybe I'm going to get a shock because I have just bet on Wise Genie. Wise Genie, who I'm watching off the spawn, and he's over at this red armor. Oh, and he is going for the delay. I love it.
So he's synced up the two major items. Well, not quite, but made them more similar. So he's banking on the fact that he probably won't win this first fight. He's not feeling confident to start this match, and and he does have slightly less stack as well than Vigor. So, and he comes early, even though he knew that he delayed the red armor. But Vigor actually drops, but even though he took a lot of damage, he also dealt a ton of damage and finishes him with the pincer. And then, now look, Vigor's got both the red armor and the mega health. And because he was able to get the red armor and then go to the mega health straight away, they're quite nicely timed for him to now push this red armor and possibly get another kill. But actually, he whiffs a ton of shots, and Wise Genie doing heaps of damage, even though he was in the slow field or just outside of it, but trapped. And now Vigor is in a sketchy situation himself.
Nice. Really good play here by Wise Genie. I really rate that route. Like, when you know you've done damage to your opponent, sometimes actually coming from behind, your opponent isn't positioned for it, they aren't expecting it. If they aren't ready to spam it out with rockets, if you get too far down, it's just over. Wise Genie also playing this kind of wisely, I think. If he lets Vigor get out with this red and then hits one pincer, maybe a follow-up would be nice. But I think that's the best outcome he could really hope for, as long as Vigor doesn't get the blue armor below as well.
So both items are synced, and I think we'll just see a trade here. Although Vigor does come in and deal a 50 damage rocket. That was a solid hit. And did go and get the red armor, but now they are fairly similarly synced. Vigor doing a lot of damage with that shaft, and now Vigor is considerably more stacked than Wise Jenny. So Wise Jenny needs to be really careful. Shouldn't be dropping down into rooms where he can make himself vulnerable. And yeah, it just feels like both players don't have a really tight go of the timing on the items. Maybe Vigor has more, because that was a really excellent play to do with the timing of the Mega. But Wise Genie, I feel like he keeps checking if items are up, rather than knowing when items are going to be up. And yeah, that could be a difference maker between these two players.
Yeah, especially with plays like that onto the Mega. Like, this map is the map where it's going to make the difference.
Vigor just
Wise
sneaking
Genie.
around.
Nice.
Oof.
That's actually really solid damage. And if he gets up here, Wise Genie, Vigor, where's he? There he is. Sneaks around from behind onto the Mega, but that leaves the blue open for Wise Genie to rotate. This is going to be an interesting red armor, because Wise Genie in a solid position up top. Oh, this is a corner. Vigor's played this
Wise
really
Genie
well.
wants it.
Pro spam from Vigor, right? This rocket spam is doing so much damage. Wise Genie needs to start estimating. Yeah.
Even though it was like 20 damage per hit, he just hit like 5 of them. And he just knew if he placed him there like that, Wise Genie would just continually take 20, 20, 20. But oh my goodness! I was just watching Wise Genie's stack go down up the top, but I wasn't paying attention to how much stack Vigor was losing. And I think Wise Genie just did like 5-1 damage in that fight with the shaft. That was unbelievable amount of damage by Wise Genie. And oh, he's jumped into this room, but he has dealt max damage that he could. And he will be able to escape. So Wise Genie dealing damage when it counts.
Wise Genie hitting 47% shaft at the moment. Mostly just from that fight, right? Like, that fight was a lot. Statistics ruining fight. Oh. Alright, so Vigor really enjoying opportunities to close the distance and try and look for rockets here, but also seems to be fairly like aware of when his openings are. Maybe overstaying his welcome a little bit here. I'm worried that he's going to be completely lost out on this red armor. It probably wasn't worth giving up the frag for, because now Wise Genie can get into that Mega. Or if he knows it's up, he's got to know that he can rush to Mega here, because he has the huge weapon advantage and he's too late. And that is incredible. Vigor completely cleans up something that he had no right to clean up there. You know,
And
now he
again,
actually
I feel like Vigor. Oh my god, the mutual frag. Who's going to get the good spawn? Vigor gets the good spawn, and he gets the red armor off the spawn. So, yeah. But going back to what I was saying earlier about timing, it's becoming really obvious that Vigor has a really good lock on the timing of the items, but Wise Genie does not. But what we're seeing is Wise Genie just camping around the items, knowing that Vigor's going to turn up for them, and then doing mass amounts of damage when Vigor gets them. So Wise Genie happy to not necessarily know the exact timing, as long as he can do heaps of damage on Vigor when Vigor comes to get them. Because it seems like maybe Vigor is a bit like, look, he's delaying this right now because he knows the timing of the Mega. Great play. But maybe Vigor is a bit like, you know, he's thinking, I know the timing, so I should be getting the item. And that's kind of the wrong way to think about it. You should be taking it one step further and being like, I know the timing, so how am I going to play this to kill my opponent and squeeze my opponent out of the map?
Oh.
But yeah, see, the delay on the red armor then just was so vital to him being able to set up that frag. He just caught Wise Genie in the wrong room. He left the Mega Health up because he thought Wise Genie was probably going to be there, thinking the red armor was going to spawn, and then it was an easy drop down and frag. Great play there by Vigor.
All right, Wise Genie's built himself up a decent stack. You know, just something to defend himself with. But Vigor, 200, 200 monster. Vigor, you're taking his time over the red armor side. He's in no rush to collect anything right now. It doesn't do anything for him. He's much better off looking for these traps. And yeah, like Vigor has been at his strongest when he's been able to catch Wise Genie off with these traps. But now it's Wise Genie's turn to sneak something away under Vigor's nose. Really unfortunate for Vigor there not to get down onto that Mega in time. You know, maybe just scared of taking the fight in that kind of range, right? Like realizing that Wise Genie was probably down there and just not wanting to drop.
And this is the stage in the duel phylum where, you know, it's even, it's the first map, we're like 7.5 minutes in. This is when both players start kind of sweating, getting nervous, making mistakes. And, you know, you can see it in their aim. They start making aim mistakes. They start getting a bit shaky. They start making timing and movement mistakes, and actually really aggressive play there by Wise Genie. Vigor shoots himself with the rocket that is not advised, and he takes so much damage in that fight, and Wise Genie extremely healthy. Wise Genie should be trying to find Vigor. Vigor shoots himself again, and yes, this is exactly what I was saying. I think Vigor is starting to crack under the pressure, and Wise Genie could come out on top of this now with Vigor stressing.
Vigor has his finger exactly on where Wise Genie is here. Really well timed rocket. He's not going to be able to rotate onto this red, or, you know, if he does, it's going to be a suicide mission, but the spam is solid, right? If Vigor can keep his distance here, again, stabilize, you know, find some HP. Probably not this HP bubble just here. Wise Genie's going to be hunting for it. But Vigor obviously has the knowledge to play his opponent's position, you know, to set up early for these items, to be in really strong positions, to look for the right kinds of damage. Like, this is really solid play, right? Like, how does Wise Genie return damage here? And the answer is he's got to hope for a clutch pincer, which he doesn't even look for. He just spams out that LG.
I might have liked him to just rush through the teleporter, but anyway, Vigor actually playing a bit of Wise Genie's own game against him, giving a bit of his own medicine against him, and instead of going for the items, just playing to do damage on the items. But this is not good for Vigor. He's caught in the slow field, and you can see his mouse is shaking. He was stressing so hard in that fight. His mouse was wobbling all over the place, but somehow he got out without dying, and now he has more stack than Wise Genie.
Vigor actually dodged amazingly in that fight, right? Like, he wiggled his way forward with Shaft out at a time when Wise Genie just didn't expect that, and pretty much dodged, like, all of the opening damage in that fight. That's the only reason that Vigor survived. And off of the damage of that fight, he's been able to take full control. And this is why someone with really strong item timing can be so scary, because all it takes is one good fight where they get you down in stack, and then suddenly they squeeze you off the map.
And he knows where he is. He's caught him with the rocket. He needed to hit one more shot. He probably should have stuck around just to finish him off with the shaft. He had an opportunity there, and that would have been a really good frag. But anyway, Wise Genie is now low, and Vigor is looking very strong. But Wise Genie, with the ballsy play to drop down and get that red armor there, took his opportunity perfectly when he had it, and that is another vital red armor. And this is still 4-all. Even game with only a minute and a half to go. Whoever gets the next frag will potentially put it into golden frag, or we might see a sudden death. Oh, we've got to see a fight here. Wise Genie with the slow weevil, but Vigor hits 3 direct rockets, including a midi, and gets the frag. 5 frags to 4 now, and he's got all the items on the map under his thumb. 45 seconds left. What can Wise Genie do to get himself out of this situation, Phylum?
He's just got to hold on. It's going to go to golden frag. I think that's pretty much sorted. All he has to do right now is actually stay alive. That was a really critical rocket to keep Vigor back, and that's, you know, just going to delay this. But Vigor probably actually not too unhappy, right? Wise Genie is going to stay fraggable. If he just pins Wise Genie in place for another 20 seconds, it's going to come to golden frag, right? And that frag will win. Wise Genie is almost certainly going to die sometime in the next, 25 seconds. The sooner it is for Wise Genie, the better.
Vigor just wondering where Wise Genie is now. This is the first time Vigor is actually synced up the 2 major items at the same time. I think he's He's got his eyes on him now, though, and so now he's thinking, where is he going to be? Goes through the teleporter, trying to hunt him down, and oh, okay.
Nice play through the hole.
If Wise Genie can survive for another 5 seconds or so and pick correctly, he could potentially get one of these 2 major items, and I think that's what's going to happen here. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Wise
he's gone
Genie
back to
playing
Mega.
so correct there. Yeah, such good play there. But he's actually
Has he?
Mm.
What? Oh man, I have
So
no
we
idea
thought
what
he
just
was playing a
happened.
master play, but I think he's just stressing out and running away from Vigor right now. And Vigor has found him. This should
This
be
is
a
not where you
kill.
wanna
Why
be.
is Genie sticking around too long? He doesn't want to be taking this fight, but actually he's come out on top of this fight so far. But oh my god, look how low he is, and he gets killed in the corner. If that rocket was a direct rocket, it would have killed Vigor probably and saved his life, but Vigor just able to squeeze it out and win the map. And that was such a tense, developing, you know, beautiful duel we just watched. I really enjoyed that duel. It was highly entertaining. And yeah, Phylum. Now we're going into Raya. What do you expect to see?
I think Raya. I think Wise Genie is going to have a lot of shaft opportunities on Raya. I think there's a lot of range where shaft will be powerful. Not to say that Vigor had bad shaft, but I think that's going to be a factor. And I think the timings, like timing to the second, is going to be less important potentially. As long as Wise Genie isn't like totally off with when he thinks Mega is, as long as he knows roughly where to go, I think Raya was picked for a reason, and I think that reason is going to be shaft domination. All right, and we are just gonna debate which map to load. All right, Hamer, how do you feel about these two on Raya? Do you think like the pincer's going to be a big factor here? Do you think Vigor's going to be able to use his rockets as effectively as on Casbah?
Well, I think it's really interesting because knowing how the items are going and everything is probably the most important thing on this map, I think, right now, as it's a new map anyway. And really awkward start there. Both players just wanting the pincer, neither player really wanting to commit to going in because it's a death trap. And there we go. Such smart play there by Vigor, knowing that Wise Genie wants the pincer himself. And he won't be able to finish him off though. And risky situation here because he doesn't hit the conversion. He's not healthy enough to go